You can likely guess what Game Dev Tycoon is about simply by looking at the name, but just in case you don't, I'll give you the rundown. You manage a small game development studio from the early days when text-based RPGs still roamed the earth, to the modern-day video game scene where consoles are the undisputed financial heavyweights of the industry. You'll manage game development down to the brass tacks, such as how the time gets spent on what aspects of the development. You'll tweak development numbers, control genres, topics, and even control the kind of training your staff does whenever they're on their downtime between games. You'll attend trade shows, take on contract work, develop custom game engines, hire new developers, punch a grizzly bear in the face, and a myriad of other fun activities. Well, maybe not that last one, but you do still get to control a lot of things in this game. Now there's the obligatory comparison between this and Carolsoft's title Game Dev Story on iOS and Android that features cutely drawn characters and environments that I personally find very endearing. But Game Dev Tycoon is considerably deeper and allows you much more granular control over nearly every aspect of the game's development and your staff. Granted, I may not like the visuals of Game Dev Tycoon as much, but the core mechanics of the game are far better than its handheld counterpart. You'll start off in the early days where personal computers were mainly used for work and games were barely a blip on the horizon. Eventually you'll work your way through a fairly good facsimile of video game history, all the way up till modern day where you'll be doing your best to put out the latest and greatest Game of the Year contender. Over the years, you'll encounter various platforms such as the Bony Play System and the Vega Master V. In some of these cases, it looks like the guys at Greenheart Games are almost inviting large console manufacturers to bring forward litigation, but it seems the systems have been changed just enough to circumvent any legal issues. But I digress, back to the game and why I feel it's awesome. When you create a game, you have full control over how it's developed, and that plays back into the game market as well, so you have to be very careful about what genres you match with what topics. For instance, a prison action combo results in a great game that is more likely to sell well, while a dance RPG combo, on the other hand, is doomed for failure. How are you supposed to know and track what combos go well together? Well, lucky for you, the game has a very handy way of helping you with just that. Each time you finish the development of a game, you are able to create a report that tells you much of this handy information about that game. The amount of addiction and fun that can be had in Game Dev Tycoon is obvious for those who enjoy this type of game. And now it's not exactly perfect, however. Like I mentioned before, I'm not totally in love with the art style. It serves its purpose, but it's not exactly what I'd classify as eye candy. Now, is it better than a lot of other indie games out there with such small development teams? Sure. But what can I say? Maybe I have unrealistically high standards. There are also small problems with the user interface at times, but nothing major enough to deduct points for. Now, one thing that I do find annoying enough to dock points for is the seemingly constant pop-ups that the game seems to be shoving in your face every few minutes. For when the game needs your input about development questions, sure, that's fine. Now, if you also have the tutorial enabled, okay, that's fine. But it seems like every minute a new box is popping up and stopping the flow of the game. I can't help but feel a passive alert system would have served this game much better. Even something as simple as an inbox feature that pops up a little snippet of information in the corner of the screen, and if you want to know more, you can just click on it. Game Dev Tycoon is a good time and well worth the $10 it will cost you on Steam. A fair warning though, the game is a little on the difficult side, but the challenge is half the fun with a game like this. I know the guys over at Greenheart Games have worked very hard on this title, and it really shows through the rock-solid game design, easy to understand game rules, and the ability to tweak even the smallest details that makes even the most OCD of us very satisfied. I wish them all the luck in the world, and I hope Game Dev Tycoon sells as well as it deserves. Game Dev Tycoon gets a 4 out of 5.